Hey, good morning, Wacky Wednesday, everybody. It is the 29th of May, 2024. Hope everybody's doing well. So, today's not so wacky, but it's still early. A couple issues I feel that are coming up that are issues of challenges for me, and one is setting my boundaries. One is hearing things that have what I would call no truth or merit to it, but yet it has a bit of blame to it, and it shouldn't be coming my way. So I have a choice of whether I get defensive and I play that game, or I set the record straight factually, or I just breathe with it and allow the opportunity to present where possibly I need to have clarification, give clarification, or I let it go. But it seems to be something that's been poking at me quite a bit in the last 2 months or so. And I'm not digging it. I'm feeling like I don't count in the world in which I'm working. And so I'm an excellent leader with a lot of experience, but I'm also an excellent follower with a lot of experience. So practicing this neutralism has been not all joy. But it's been interesting because I've been able to really balance right there on the beam without tilting one way or the other. And because of my practice, I've become more proficient at it. So when I get to these spaces where I'm being poked, triggered, I want to get back on my balance beam, and I just want to be right there and not tilt her one way or the other. And then allow myself to make choices, decisions, and open pathways up from that footprint. So that is something that is presenting that I'm trying to find my purpose in all of it. Some of it I just want to say, flip a finger and walk away, The other thing I'm finding quite interesting is 2 or 3 nights recently, I've gone to go to sleep. And in going to sleep, a movie scene or a television show will pop up in my head randomly. And I literally merge with that character. And I can see everything that character is doing, feeling, seeing, and sensing. And the particular series, the show that came up, is something I honestly haven't really watched in quite some time. So my instinct was to, get me out of here. Get behind me, Satan. This is dark. Right? But it kept happening until I really, really had to connect with my breath and call in my guide team closer to help me to flip the page, get myself back in my bed, and focus on bringing in the guides and the sleep in the twilight that I required in that moment, and getting out of my mind and becoming something that I had nothing to do with. So it was a huge distraction, right? So then I started kind of thinking about it, and I was like, this is so bizarre, and it felt so real, and it felt so natural. And then this morning I was listening to a YouTube channel, and on my way to work, and someone was talking with melding with others, that may be something you could learn from them. I thought, oh, so maybe it was random that these characters were coming into my mind and I was melding with them. And it felt really bizarre because one of the shows had a lot of violence and sex in it. And I didn't really want to be a part of that. So when I heard that this morning about maybe pick or choose somebody that you could learn from and meld with them, and I thought, oh, well, you could certainly see, sense, and feel what that's like. And in some ways I do that in my private sessions. I'm melding with my guide team and their guide team. So I see some of the same visions that they're going through. I'm walking the path with them. Past life, hypnosis, advanced Reiki, zone technique. I'm in the body and I'm sort of sensing what's going on. So what's the difference? Well, I think the difference is it just had a random show pop up to show me I could do it. And then it showed me not to fear it, maybe just step back and then choose who I'm molding, melding, merging with. And what's my objective to be in that person's energetics, seeing, sensing, and feeling them and what it is that they're doing in that particular moment. What's coming to mind right now is I remember decades ago when I learned about inventors really working with their subconscious. So they're not completely asleep, but they're really pulling on their subconscious. And I remember the story of, I think it was Thomas Edison would lay down, but he would take a tennis ball or something and bounce it in his hand. So he could doze, but he could never doze off. The tennis ball fell, that means he fell asleep. So the creative process went dormant in my eyes. And I remember when I was hearing the story, I was actually right there laying down as Thomas Edison. First I was observing him, and then I was laying down as him, like my body just molded into his body. And I was feeling this deep hypnosis and going into that creative mode. So he was walking through his whole process. And now I'm getting things of when I was building my home, I could literally walk through the diagram on the paper, the architectural diagram, and I could go to the land and I could see the house. I could open the front door and I could literally walk through the room like a model was being shown to me. And I could see where things needed to be. So light switches, electrical outlets, windows, where something should be a door or a window or a window or a door, what should have an archway, what should be squared. And I could do that. And so it helped me to create a better home that was massively functional. So I didn't move into it afterwards and not connect with it where things ought to have gone, and then it's too late to really correct them. So perhaps it's wacky that we're moving into really molding and melding, but having some control on our panel of who it is that we're molding and melding with. Now, another thing that's coming up is when we're so empathic that we automatically sort of do that. But we may do it from physical distance, meaning we're not molding and melding, merging with that person, but we are with their feelings, with their energetics. So we're picking that all up. And some may equate that with nausea and headaches and body aches, and so on and so forth, to help you maybe get that person better if you're working with them from a healing and healthcare aspect. But for the most part, the empathics don't even know that, because it starts when you're born. And so many empathics develop high volume anxiety because their system is trying to say, no, stop, no, stop, stop, no, 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 no. And so all this nervous system stuff is flooding the body, and then it gets exacerbated as time goes on. And then many need to be medicated to help calm that, because we're not taught how to deal with that. I had to learn it in my own way. And that's why I teach it in my own way. So Spirit's saying that's about enough for right now, because it's not as wacky as it sounds. To me, it sounds perfectly normal. So I want each and every one of you that's listening to share this video with people, because it could be occurring with people and they're not knowing how to express it. But they're not alone, because I'm telling you, I'm experiencing it. And it's been on my mind the last couple of days of, how did I really truly merge with, I mean, I could feel and see like I was in their body, operating everything in the way they were doing a particular video scene or a series scene or a movie scene, and so on. And so a lot of things that I've learned energetically is there is a negative connotation to that, because then you start to act out what someone is acting as a character, and you take it on as a real life thing. So I think that's where I was pumping the brakes. So I'm going to investigate a little bit further and talk with my guide team and ask them, what is this about? And then why did I hear this video this morning about melding with maybe a mentor, someone from any decade that you would like to have known more about? So we're melding versus reading a book about them. So you see where the informational highway is changing. It's changing. So give that some thought. I've got to get in here right now. I've got a book of business today. And I send so much love to each and every one of you. So talk with your guide team, connect with your breath, get on the balance beam, get to neutral. Try to your best to move through making decisions through neutrality, and working on your boundaries to work on self. And the more that you work on self and your boundaries, the more you can assist the earth and all of its inhabitants to balance as well. So do it for you, do it for those around you, known and unknown. All right? Like, subscribe, and share. Leave me a comment. See you on the next video.